Welcome to selfdiscoverywisdom.com, formerly known as Self-Discovery Media. On these podcasts, you're going to hear people who speak from the heart. They've taken the journey in life. Many things have happened to them, but they've changed it to happening for them. And in their strength, their courage, they've discovered their abilities and their wisdom, and they are now sharing it here with you. Do enjoy each show. We bring it to you with love and knowing that it's going to help you on your journey of life. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Raising Our Gifted Children right here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. I'm your host, Sarah Troy, and my wonderful tag team here all the way from Australia is Fiona and Molly McIntosh. And we're going to be talking about a project of theirs that really is very, very important to them. It's you, shapers, the power of imagination and to turn ideas into friendship. It's a wonderful idea of bringing people together through creativity. They say that so many of our children carry creative gifts that go unseen. The first notice of this was her daughter Molly, when she used to have a simple imagination game to help her make friends. From that moment grew You Shapers, mother and daughter social enterprise creating playful imagination games to spark creativity, connection, and belonging across generations. Each time a child shares an idea and sees it welcomed, it builds self-esteem and the deeper belief I am someone whose ideas matter. I am creative. Excuse me. My apologies. Parents, grandparents, and teachers often tell us that they've discovered a new side of their children through these games. As ideas turn into friendships, voices are heard, and at heart, our message is simple. You belong where your ideas are welcomed. And this is such a really, really important topic. You see that when Molly was 6 years old, with a simple game that helped her make friends during a difficult time, it's grown into these games now, reaching families, schools, communities across the world. And today, Molly plays an active role in shaping and running the enterprise, bringing fresh creativity, lived experiences, and the voice of a young person showing what it means to belong. Fiona, and a solo mum with a background in human services and community development and inclusion, works alongside Molly to bring these games to life and share them widely. Together, they are proving how simple, playful ideas can ripple out to create lasting confidence and connection through community. Amen to that. I think what people don't actually understand how important play is, creative play, and how it ignites not just the imagination, but the possibilities. Because you begin to say, what if I did this? How far can I take that? Or did you know? And it all becomes something that opens everything up. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Excuse me, having just a little coughing fit here. My lungs are jumping out of my chest, which is usual. So creative imagination, all imagination is creative, right? But how many times have we been told, especially my generation, oh, stop dreaming, or it's all in your imagination. And yes, we want our imagination. We need our imagination. We need to get creative with that. It is our voice. It's our exploration. It's our self-discovery. And to dismiss people with an imagination is ludicrous. And it's essential that we encourage imagination that leads to creativity and inclusion. Really, 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 really important. So, Molly, did you ever expect this to be where it is today?
Definitely not. I think like the only thing, well, no, really, I haven't really expected that it would have taken off into like this game that's been played pretty much across everywhere, really. And the fact that like something so simple, like what was it, 7 years ago, could turn into just this amazing creativity thing that can help so many other people as well, not just me. So I think that definitely that was unexpected.
And what did you see in it, Mum? You know, that you saw something and it's like, yes, you could have just kept it inclusive, just, 2 or 3 people. But, what did you see as this, like, we need to expand this?
Yeah. I feel like I think when we originally developed the game and it was about coming up with idea, brainstorming ways to make friends. And Molly, as part of that, what she came up with was about taking an elastic to school. And so she invited other kids to play, but then other kids started bringing elastics, and then the school bought elastics as well. And for me, it was just this sign that there was this really small, simple
Mm,
thing that actually had a ripple effect. And then, so that made me wonder about like maybe if that was something that could help us at home in terms of like just even just getting out the door, like, and
mm,
having you're saying earlier about, our creativity and imagination. It really, takes us from spaces of being immersed in a problem to possibility. And
mm.
yeah, I think it was because of that ripple effect that made me think that really, yeah, maybe other people might benefit from it as well. So yeah.
And I think when you have an attitude of, I wonder where this could go,
Yeah.
Yes.
right? And just willing to
Yeah.
take the journey. It's not dictating what the journey should be and it's got to do this, it's got to do that, but just like more exploration. I wonder, where
Yeah.
could this go? And then that's the excitement in taking the
Yep.
journey, isn't it? And
Yeah.
then
Yes.
seeing the
Yeah.
reaction from people and then go,
Yeah.
wow, and then seeing how it
Yeah.
expands out and even more imagination. So
That's
everything has
right.
to come
That's
from a
right.
seed.
That's right. That's right. And that sense of adventure is still here like every day. And in
Mm,
the sense of like, oh, I wonder if these people might be interested, or I wonder if it might have value over here, or it might be, you have a kind of conversation with somebody and then somebody sees something in it that you've never thought of before. And
yeah.
it's and because I'm like, and that was part of, I guess, the reason of developing it as a social enterprise as well, is that you've got that freedom that comes with like being like, as you sell it, then that gives you funding to expand it. And so in doing that, kind of learning about, sales and marketing and all the stuff that I'm very unfamiliar with that comes along with running your own business. It's kind of like, you're learning skills as well
Yes.
along the way. And it's kind of this giant jigsaw puzzle that hasn't been written by anyone else, but it's like, where could this go? And how,
Yeah.
yeah, how could we, yeah, how can we kind of bring it to life? So yeah, it's
Yeah.
been a really
We
cool
never know
adventure.
what we're capable of doing until we're willing to just explore. Right. As you
True.
said, you didn't know that this was going to be what it is, this enterprise,
Yeah,
right? And of course,
that's
having a
right.
mum that's willing to explore and see it go further is
Yeah.
obviously definitely a benefit. But from from the start of it and seeing how people have immersed themselves into it, Molly, what have you learned about yourself through this process?
I think definitely that like things can like it's not just oh well there's just one friend who's gonna play with you. It's more like well everyone can kind of join in and everyone can belong and this is like it's not just like the people who are at school, the people like close to me. I think that that expands more than that is kind of what I've taken away from it. Yeah.
You said something very, very poignant here, belong. As human
Yeah.
beings, we need to belong. I've always drawn the analogy of we're an instrument in discovery, right? What
Mm,
is our instrument? How do we play it? Yes, we can play it as a soloist. However, when we join an orchestra, each in our own strength, coming together harmoniously, we become transcendent, right? Because we
mm,
do want to share that music. We do want to come
mm,
together in our creative process of, what song can we create together? But
mm,
we've
mm,
got to know our own instrument first, because that's what we want to bring to the table. So you started something not knowing where it was going or
mm,
what it was
Yeah.
doing. But this has obviously strengthened your instrument per se along the line as well,
mm,
right?
mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. And you definitely, I feel like, I see you as a creative person, but I've often heard you talk about, I'm a creative, she
Mm.
definitely talks about, her creativity and also just like little things like, talking to people and, getting confidence. And when you were running the games, like when we'd have community come together for either play testing or kind of community days, and you were very much, kind of in that facilitator role from a very young age.
Mm.
And it's I feel like yeah in terms of like speeches and
Yeah. Yeah, I think I've definitely gotten more stronger with like projecting myself out there.
Mhm.
Like before this, I was kind of like didn't really want to like stand up in front of my class, like do like a
Mhm.
project or something. But now I'm like, eh, this is actually like a good thing. Like it's just like this is like a really exciting thing, and I like look forward to like all of the speeches and the presentations, and I think that's definitely also changed like me
Yeah.
definitely with this
Made you
game.
more confident,
Yeah. Yeah.
more self-assured, more willing to explore, right?
Yeah,
Because,
definitely.
once you've kind of got a
Yeah.
foundation of something there, and it's like, okay, and it doesn't even matter if I have a faux pas, right? It's okay, that was a hiccup, right? But you don't beat
Yeah.
yourself up over it, right? It was just a hiccup,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
you learn from it. That's the whole thing about it is I think, as human beings, we sell ourselves short all the time because we're so busy
Mm,
trying to fit into a expected box of who
mm,
and what
mm,
we should be. And
mm,
and if we don't fulfill that image of that box, we feel less than. And when you
mm,
have something that, ignites creativity and community and brings people together where I say, I see you, I care,
mm,
I
mm,
hear you, I want to hear your voice, now there is no box.
mm, mm.
And everybody has a chance to be seen and heard. And that's so important.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And just thinking back, when, we've talked to kids about what is it that they like about the game, it's one, you can use your imagination is the biggie. And then this other kind of common thing comes up, which is about showing yourself to others. And it's
Mm.
just a really consistent kind of
Yeah.
thing, isn't it? About showing their imaginative side, showing their inner world, showing, kind of their thoughts. And that's kids of all ages. That's like kind of very young kids as well as kind of teens as well, who
Yeah.
said, yeah.
And I
So
imagine
that's
for an
good.
awful lot of people, especially, I always say, like, I mean, I'm a grandmother. And just like when you read something to your grandchildren, you're learning a lesson at the same time, right? So,
Yeah.
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 having um, elders or elder people play it too, there's a
Yeah.
rediscovery of an inner child or of inner voice that
Yeah.
they've always been
Yeah.
told to suppress, right?
Yes.
So
Yes. Yes. Yes.
permission to
Yes.
express.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny when we sit down with adults to play, usually, like I would say 90% would say, I'm not creative, I'm not
Yeah.
imaginative, but
Mm.
people are. And I
Yes.
think that's a thing, but they've told themselves that they're not. And it's such a weird thing because it comes up, I kind of laugh all like each time because it's such a common kind of thing. But then I kind of think, well, what is driving that? What is underneath
Mm.
that people don't believe they're creative and on who say? And because when people actually, it's a very simple, kind of playful thing to engage with, but the ideas that people come up with in a very, very short amount of time in terms of connecting with others in a creative way, it's quite incredible what comes out. And I think people also associate creativity with their ability to draw as close to a hyper realistic kind of way. And so
Yeah.
they judge
Mm.
themselves on their drawings, which I think is also sad because
Yes.
like our drawings are sketches of representations of the things that we see inside, and they tell us often more than what words do
Yeah.
because it's like what is somebody seeing? And yet,
Reflecting.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah, and yet adults seem to be, start off, but some often like people go, I'll just write the words. I won't draw the picture because they're so worried about their picture,
Mm.
but in fact, like the picture tells so much.
Yes.
So not to worry. Yeah, yeah, and
But
yeah.
it's also this guardedness. Oh, I don't
Yeah,
want judgment. I don't want
don't
people to
like
this. I don't want
judgment.
that. And it's like, that's the
Yeah,
way we've been brought up because that's the way society was. It's
yeah,
incredibly judgmental. And if you,
yeah,
again, don't fit in this box or this, that if you don't look like this, you don't sound like this, you're not rich like this, you don't belong in that community, da, da,
yeah,
da. And it's
yeah,
all about separation, not about
yeah.
inclusion. And
Yes,
when we give people that permission to be who they are in the wonderful, wacky self, and say,
yeah,
you're valued for who you are.
yeah,
As I said, the boxes and those dictations fall away, right?
yeah,
There aren't
yeah.
any walls anymore. There is now unison, not division.
That's so true. That's so true. And there's such power in sharing our ideas. And the way that like the game's kind of set up is that you come up with your idea, draw it or write it if you feel more comfortable doing that. And then we share our ideas and ask each other three questions, which is What do you like about my idea? How could we make it better, and how could we bring it to life? And so it's geared towards, like even just finding the smallest thing that you like about a person's idea. And often people will describe this like warm glow, this like this really right,
Yeah.
that at that moment they're like, oh, I like that feeling, like you like my idea, like, and that's adults and kids, like that's a universal kind of thing. And it's like yeah, if we only had those opportunities to share our ideas more. And I think one of the things that kind of gets in the road is what's been talked about is the uneven communication effect, where in groups of kind of 5 or more people, 1 or 2 people tend to dominate the conversation. So and that's obviously among kind of adults, but I still think there's something there. There's something there about whose idea gets listened to, and how does our society, kind of like uphold, kind of and repeat because it's repeating dominant ideas in a way as well, isn't it? And so often I think the solutions come from the quietest voices, and
Yes.
right,
Yes, because they're
And so,
observing, right? And have become very
yeah,
poignant. I also don't think there's ever any bad ideas. I think, go
yeah,
crazy on the ideas,
yeah,
right? Like stratosphere on the ideas. They're
yeah,
craziest and the wackest. But then
yeah,
it's like everybody's on that euphoria. Then it's like, you know what? If we did this and we did that,
yeah,
it ain't such a crazy idea after all. We could
that's
make it
right.
happen. And it's
That's
almost like
right.
reverse engineering the
Yeah,
idea into actualization. But we've got to
yeah.
give permission to go crazy on the ideas.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. And when the kids and adults too, they come up with like really outlandish kind of things, and it's the fun, kind of the moment. And we had a day where we brought residents together over in one of our new suburbs called Whitlam, and what they did was we had the game tailored to their community in the sense of it showed pictures of their landmarks and places, and it also had pictures of their resources as well. So what happened was people, families kind of came together in the morning, came up with their ideas, shared their ideas, and then created the ideas in the afternoon because all those resources were there. So it was just it was really quite. But the ideas originally, I remember there was an idea about it was coming up with a yearly tradition that involved this wheelie bin thing that was near the lake. And so they had this idea where it was like a wheelie bin race where you had people carrying in the wheelie bin. So, not the safest idea, but what they transformed it to in the afternoon was still taking the essence of the idea, but then using, like, they had these little mini kind of, what do you call them, wheelie bins, and we did it with like plastic lids. And so like it was still the essence of the idea and the fun and the everything that was with it, but it was just done in a safer way. So the way that we do that is we've got a planning sheet that kind of helps people to look at, it's based on asset-based community development principles, so that people look to what's in our community already at the moment, what resources do we already have to create that, who could we reach out to in our community, and then it looks at, kind of like the safety and is it making fun of a particular group of people, or, like those sorts of things that bring the idea back into something that can be experienced in a safe, psychologically safe and a physically safe kind of way. But there's still the essence of the ideas are all there, aren't they? Like, and the crazy ideas still become something.
Yeah.
The teamwork it creates, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
yeah, it's I always kind of call it the mum effect. Like you got a bunch of mum together. Well, we need to do this. We need to do that. Okay, I've got this. What we can do that here, and we can do that there, and everybody kind of hodgepodges and puts things
yes,
together out of
yes,
necessity. But when you've
yeah,
got that creativity out of a game, well, how can we address this? How about this? Well, how about that? Teamwork,
yeah, yeah,
community coming together, everybody's idea being valuable. Even
yeah,
if it's, my philosophy that the janitor's just as important as the CEO,
yep, yep,
right?
yep,
So
yep, yep,
it's not dismissing any idea, even if it's an idea. Do you know what? Not for this project, but I love this. We've got to look at a way we can make that happen on another project, right?
yeah,
So
that's
future
right.
projects. So it's never dismissing.
Yep,
It's
that's right.
how do we address this one right now? But that project needs to
Yeah,
be revisited
Yep.
elsewhere, and then letting people feel heard, seen, and
Yep.
valued for their
Yep.
input. And that's the biggest lesson out of it, isn't that sense of
Yep.
value for your input?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And even people contributing to when people ask that idea, what do you like? How could you make it better? They're adding their ideas into the
Mm,
idea. So then the idea kind of
yeah.
transforms in the actual kind of game. And that third question is, which is how can we bring it to life? Which is
Yeah.
that, like, well, maybe I've got a frisbee I could bring, or maybe I could bring this from home. And
Yeah.
and that and yeah, there's those ideas that can kind of be made there and then on the spot, which kind of is about having access to the things to make it happen or something like it. And then, yeah, there are those ideas though that are more about like, okay, with a bit of planning, we could host a community picnic on a
Mm,
day. And also the beautiful thing is too that we've like really started to go down the path of is trying to connect with what we would call, kind of placemakers or community development workers who have that role in the community to bring people together, and they can often connect people with others as well to help them make that idea come to life. So yeah,
it
yeah,
reaches out. Question
Yeah.
for you, Molly.
Yeah.
You've seen kids adapt to this, right? And how they just simply do it. But what's your reaction in seeing the kid come out of the adult?
I think like because adults are always like when they first come up to play the game, they're like, "Oh, just let my kid play. Like I'm not
Mm,
creative or whatever." And I think that once they do, well, they don't really get pulled into it, but once they're like, "Oh yeah, well maybe I actually will give this a go," then they kind of it's kind of funny how like you can see someone go from like, oh no, I'm not creative at all to like, oh, I love this idea that I've made
mm,
because I was creative. And I
mm,
think that is like a really cool thing to see, like especially at like markets where people have tested it out, or like the game day in the new suburb. Like it was just all these adults who were like, oh, I'm not creative or whatever. And then they came up with all these great ideas that we
mm.
could go and make and stuff, which I definitely thought was really cool. So yeah.
Because kids don't look at it, I'm creative or I'm not. They have an
no,
idea or they don't have an idea. They just do.
yeah, they just
Right.
do.
Oh, well, how,
Yep.
what are you doing? How can I do that? What do? And off they go. But with as
Yeah,
adults, it's like, who I could possibly, and
yeah,
then all of a
yeah,
sudden,
yeah,
oh, I'm
yeah,
doing it. I'm having fun. Look
yeah.
at this. I can do it. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So
We've got a beautiful video on our website of that community day where the adults and kids all came together. But you can just see like the adults are all so in the afternoon we set up like little stations around that had all of the everybody's ideas. And so then the group kind of went around to those ideas and tried them all. And you can see the adults just really getting into it and being
Yeah.
very kid like they were like kids, weren't they? Like it
Yeah.
was, yeah, yeah, enjoying it. And they enjoyed then meeting other neighbors and
Mm.
yeah, it worked quite well.
So this
Yeah.
kind of game, it doesn't matter where anybody is. They can take the principle of it, right? The creative things that have been done, the inspiration of it, and
Yeah,
duplicate this anywhere.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. That's right. So we've got what am I trying to say? So with our invent, so there's four kind of piles of cards. And so you've got like invention challenges. So like one of them, for example, invent a way to connect through food, is like a challenge. And then it's about involving this person. So there's 10 kind of cards showing people different ages,
Mm,
gender, background. We've got at this particular place, and a lot of them are kind of our hometown, which is Canberra in Australia, but we've also got a lot of, very typical kind of like inside a car or,
mhm,
kind of places that are very relatable to people. But yeah, a lot of these are kind of Australian based kind of outdoor sort of areas. And then we've got very much everyday kind of household items that you might
mm,
use to create things. So or might be inspired by something. So yeah, everything is very adaptable to other places. We've created stuff for communities that have their images in them, so we can
mm.
kind of do that as well. But yeah, just the base pack is even
Well, I mean,
yeah,
if you're
usable.
overseas and you get the Australian package, actually what you're doing is actually seeing Australia through the pictures as
Yeah,
well,
that's
right?
right.
So,
That's right.
there
Yep.
is
Yep.
it opens up another conversation. Tell me about
Yeah.
Australia. I want to know more
Yeah.
about it. So,
Yeah.
I think, the biggest problem we have in society today is that people have lost that wonderment. They've lost their
Mm,
inquisitiveness. They've
mm,
lost the willing to learn and expand. right? And they're
Yeah.
so busy handing themselves over to other people who tell them how to think and feel and be,
Mm.
and we've lost that connection to who we are. You know, this
Yes.
genre is called Raising Our Gifted Children. Well, every
Yes. Yes.
single one of us is born with a gift. And
Yeah.
as we're adults, it kind of almost get beaten out of us,
Yeah.
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 and dismissed. And we need to ignite
Yeah.
that beautiful gift in the child within us. But with
Yes.
our children, we need
Yeah.
to make sure we nurture that gift in them
Yes.
and water it and make sure that it's got the structure and the skills and the tools in
Yes.
order for it to grow. Not
That's
say,
it.
well, no, you're too old now. Forget about all of that.
Yeah.
Now you must do this.
Yeah.
No, that
Yeah.
creativity needs to be at all ages, all stages, all through
Yeah.
your life.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And celebrating the beauty of in like all of the specific beauty in ideas rather than comparing them to other forms
Yeah,
of creativity. So like I think, as particularly as teens where you become more aware of your identity and how you kind of fit in relation to others, I think that's where we, kind of tend to dampen our expression of ourselves unless we feel like competitively it's good. And I feel like especially in this day and age of social media, like there's so
Yeah.
many messages around this is what good art looks like or
yeah.
good, kind of thing looks like. Whereas actually the space to be able to express ourselves and for people to notice, really, really, really notice the elements of what is it that resonates with people. Like it's so important, like as a life, both as a life skill, but also like as a source of self-esteem and yeah,
There's
identity.
somebody I interviewed a while ago, and her art just kind of started happening while she was in transit to her work. And she would like take, draw. She would draw as she's traveling, like somebody just holding onto the railing in the subcar, all right, or
Wow.
somebody with a hat on a particular thing, and just those little sketches, but they all told a story, right?
Yeah,
And they all
right.
captured a moment, and they all
Yeah,
kind of made the inquisitive, where's that person going? What are they doing? All
yeah,
right. And that's the
yeah.
thing, is do not dismiss the story that's coming out of the creativity, because
Yes.
not everything has to be the novel, right?
Yes,
Or
that's
the Mona
right. That's
Lisa, right?
right.
It's the little things.
Exactly.
We need to
Yes.
pay attention to those little
Those
things.
little things. That's it. That's it. And therein lies the enjoyment of life,
Mm,
like it's, I can see themes, kind of in your drawings and your ideas and that sort of thing that that like they're around the things that you would enjoy as well. And so they're kind of doable in the sense of, it's if to do those things is to also, kind of enjoy time with other people as well. And I think that's the thing too, is there's the creativity kind of element of it, but then it's like go back to the exploration is how far can we push this
yes.
to create people's sense of belonging. And ultimately what we'd love to see is that kind of people come together and obviously play the game, share their ideas, create those ideas, but hopefully one day that either community programs or schools actually embed those
Yeah.
ideas, kind of at lunchtime. So you could have, a You Shape Us, activity or some kind of activity club that's based on one of the kids' ideas around, something about people coming together and those invitations for others to play in a different way that's not the standard, kick a footy around the oval or, like you see the standard, kind of the groups
Yeah.
of kids and, who's attracted to, that more sporty end of things versus who might be attracted to more, kind of artistic or creative
Yeah.
or different types of movement, and
Yeah.
this creates difference in ways of belonging. And yeah, so
I
hopefully
remember winning a
that's where we're going.
competition at school where the art teacher said, okay, draw me a circus, right?
Yeah.
What's your interpretation? Well, I did it with wax crayons for a
Ah,
start. And
yeah,
then I did an elephant on a tightrope,
Cool.
and I did everything kind of different, right?
yes,
And it was
yes,
like no thought out, just did it, right?
yeah,
And she goes, I've never seen it from this point of view, right? Who says that
yeah,
the elephant doesn't want to do a tightrope? Have you ever asked the
yeah,
elephant?
yeah, yeah,
And it's kind of, I didn't draw it to win a competition. It was just like, oh, what if, right? And I think
yeah.
that is this thing about, well, art needs to be this or
Mm,
expression needs to be. It's the same with
mm,
somebody who sings. The person who sings technically sounds great. The person who sings from the heart feels great, right?
Yes.
And we want to
Yeah.
feel, we want to look at something and it makes us feel. And I'm
Yeah.
very, very much about feeling to think, not thinking to feel,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I love that.
And, you know, the wisdom that shows us what thoughts are relevant in that
Mm.
moment. And I think that when we go with the wisdom and go with the flow and allow the mind to then expand on it, you know, because of the instruction, because that's
Yeah.
the mind is just waiting for instruction. That's
Yeah.
it,
Just a prompt. Yep.
right?
Yep.
And then when it ignites that in the mind, and the mind then can go, right,
Yeah.
no limits.
Yeah.
Where can I go with this? You know, then
Yes.
it expands possibilities. It shows us that anything is possible. We're in a
Yeah.
world right now which trying to shrink us.
Yeah.
It's trying to
Yeah.
uh, kill our voice, kill our
Mm. Mm.
creativity.
Mm.
You know, it's
Mm.
trying to enslave us in many ways. And if
Mm.
we push back from that and go, no, not me,
Mm.
no
Mm.
shackles on
Mm.
my thoughts, no shackles
Mm.
on my wisdom, on my heart, on my soul, no shackles on my
Yeah.
creativity.
Yeah.
I am
Yeah.
going to expand and push that out. We're going
Yeah.
to see generations come out where we're going to elevate on such a level that we've never seen humanity do before. But we've got to
Mm.
keep the creativity alive.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think that's it. And I think as part of that is, as a parent, as of giving kids opportunities just to try different creative kind of outlets as well. And so in the sense of like, say like with this social enterprise, it's kind of like I'm not answering to anybody. I don't
Mm,
have anything in particular like that. Like I've got a job that pays the bills and all that kind of
yeah.
things, and it does allow me to be creative, but not to the degree that
Yes.
this kind of does. And I think that's a thing with like whether it's kids' small business or hobby or just something that you're expressing yourself in gives you that opportunity to be and express your creativity without those kind of limits and yeah, and to be able to kind of try different things. I'm just thinking about like your dog treat business, and so Molly is on the side as well because we're out at the market sometimes, and that's the thing,
Yeah.
sometimes this is very slow. Like we can go to a market and hardly kind of sell a thing, and then other times it's quite good,
Yeah.
but often because it's quiet. So on the side, like you've set up like a bracelet business and you're selling dog treats.
Mm.
Did you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So I used to sell like little dog treats which would help dogs like take their tablets because like our dog used to
Ah.
take tablets and it was just like a pain to give him anything because he's not food motivated at all. And we came up with this idea of like selling like dog treats and then I sold those at the market and then I started like a bracelet making business. So like most of them are like Taylor Swift lyrics. Uh yeah, and then some of them are just like plain colors and then
Yeah.
like different bracelets and stuff and just like all the kids like who come up and they're like oh bright colors for like bracelets and then they're like oh wait this is like a really cool game like right next to it so this is like
Mm.
kind of a great selling technique. It's like oh you come for the game but then you see the bracelets and then you come for the bracelets and then you
Mm.
see the game so it's like that kind of thing
And
is
there's something for the
yeah.
dogs as well, right?
That's
So,
Yeah.
right. That's right.
I
That's
mean,
right.
but what you're doing here is creating an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you can achieve this now when you're young, the universe is the limit, not the sky. The universe
Yeah.
is the limit. And
Yeah.
so have you had any thought to, I would like to achieve X, Y, and Z in the future, or are you just literally living every day and seeing where it goes?
I think from my point of view, the definitely like thinking about our impact is really in terms of where it's driven towards. So we're trying to kind of sell it as far and wide as possible into families, schools, aged care programs as well. So we've got a second game that we released as well, which is similar to our main one, but the idea is that you come up with a memory, you choose a prompt that reminds you of something, and then we share that memory, and then we create the connection idea off that memory. And so we developed that one with the needs of seniors in mind in terms of the card design. And so as part of that is reaching out to community programs where where seniors are and who might be interested. So we've kind of got like that's like the sales marketing kind of side of things, but then getting things embedded like that ultimate, like we're really trying to get, residents designing activities for residents, or kids designing activities for kids.
Mm.
Like that's the ultimate kind of place we're going to see, yeah, kind of how far we can push it.
Yeah.
Here's one that I'm
Very
throwing
important.
at you, is, people and kids with autism or Down syndrome, right? Communication through games, something
Yep,
that is really there that they can attach to. And a lot of people don't understand autism. There's so many different spectrums, the same
yep,
with Down syndrome. I have a grandson with
yes,
Down syndrome,
yep,
and he has no idea of his limits. Right.
yep,
He will get there when
yep,
he gets there. Right. He's
yep,
just simply
yep,
enjoying every moment. But then is putting things in their way that they feel they can join in with, but at the same time find a voice themselves, because their voice isn't like anybody else's. Right.
yeah,
So it's that
yes, yep, yep,
invitation to hear their voice where they feel they can contribute because it's something they understand.
yep.
And because that's something I think is definitely needed.
Yep, yep, absolutely. So we have tested our game with a couple of families whose kids have intellectual disability, and also have tested it with some young adults with autism as well. Oh, and young children with autism. So I think the thing is, there's so obviously, as you said, there's people have a diversity of needs, and the first kind of principle I'd say is often people don't have the opportunity to express their creativity, and
Mm,
so whether it's using this game directly or kind of the idea of it, would, it's that thing of, so say for example, how do we take somebody's interest? So let's say somebody's interested, a young person's interested in slime. So one of the things that you can do in our new pack is to be able to create your own cards. And so you can create, if a connection activity involving slime, and obviously, to the maximum degree that they might be able to express themselves, or it might be that their parents might give some input as well if they're
mm,
not able to say verbally express, kind of their interest, but their parents know it's an interest,
mm,
then their interest can be taken into account in terms of something being developed at school that is inclusive of that young person's interest and involves other kids coming together as well. And also for the families whose kids who have intellectual disability, they were saying, yeah, they really got into the game, and they said it was just a matter of a bit more prompting, like,
yes.
thinking about this. And also you can make it less complex in the sense of only using two cards or one card. So you might have somebody, let's say somebody's got an interest in, I don't know, cars. You might have a picture of a card, and so it's like, okay, how can we as a family, or how can we as a classroom think about something that is a way of connecting that involves that young person's interests? So yeah,
Right. I
again,
can see this really helping people that have anxiety.
yeah,
Yeah.
Right? Because, you know,
yes,
very often they're anxious and they don't know why they're anxious. This anxiety riddles them. And it's like scared to participate, anxious to
yep,
participate. But when they
yep,
see how simple it is, right? And just, how much creativity lies in them. All of a sudden, confidence is there that they didn't have
yeah,
before. Anxiety
yeah,
levels come down,
yep,
and again they feel I can contribute,
yep,
right?
yep,
I can be
yep.
a part of this. So have you
Absolutely.
found that, Molly?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, just thinking
Yeah.
about the kids that came together at Stripey Sunday, the families and the little kids that, like, with the opt out thing. Did you want to explain that? Or do you want me to? Oh, so so there's a welcome card in the beginning, which is all about setting up a safe space around the game. And one of the things is you can just be there and listen. You don't have
Mm,
to speak, is basically what it is, for that reason. So because for very young children or people with
yeah.
anxiety, or there'd be different reasons, where people
Shy,
might not,
yes.
yeah, shy,
Yeah.
yep, yep,
Mm,
new people, that kind of
mm,
thing, where, and even for older people too, I've seen this work too, in the sense of people can just be part of the game without necessarily talking.
yeah.
And so what we found though with the young kids, like over time, that thing about that confidence. So we had three families come together over a couple of occasions at this ice cream shop, and we used to play it and have ice cream stuff. And after the second time they came back, they could see what was involved, and then they were
Mm,
quite happy to express their idea.
right.
So like the first week they were drawing their idea, and then they were just hanging back and watching. But then the second time they felt confident enough, and that was a group of families who didn't know each other either. So
Right.
yeah, there is definitely, and I think that's in the facilitation as well, is like really just setting up that safe space that people are still part of it, and you're never separate, but you're not forced to
Right.
contribute. And yeah, as people find their voice or their, yeah. And there might
So
be
Molly,
people.
I mean, here you are with an enterprise and, something that's growing and expanding. Have you given any thought to, down the road where you would like to take something or something that else that you would like to try? What has this opened up for you?
I think that it's definitely like opened up that I want to go into something creative because
Mm.
like when I was younger, I was like, oh, I really like I want to be a nurse or a doctor or something. Like I was really interested in that. And I'm like, well, I don't really like the blood side, so that's probably not for me. But I think that like something creative now is like definitely this has opened up a whole nother world of seeing things in the future. So it's like, oh, well, I know that I'm not going to be something to do with a doctor because like what's creative really in that you fix things and but something that's like you get to make something or you get to have your creative thought is like what I hope for in the
I
future.
mean, there's sacral therapy. There's all sorts of therapy stuff that you can do, which can incorporate games
Yeah.
and creativity. So, behavioral. Uh, I know there's words for this, and I'm just losing them right now. But behaviorist, etc. Um, where you can actually incorporate the two. Where you can
Yeah.
be that kind of mental medical,
Mm,
so you're not looking at the blood,
mm,
but at the same time of, where it opens people up through the art
mm,
of games and imagination
mm,
that shows them. Because I think that's when people are shut down for whatever reason, their imagination is the world is against them.
mm,
Everything is
mm,
terrifying. They're scared
mm,
of everything. When you could show them that
mm,
imagination can be joyful,
mm,
right? And that can have
mm,
something that's exciting and that's something that they can express and it opens them up. Like
mm,
then it becomes, well, what else is possible?
mm,
Right? They're
mm,
more open to what else is out there. And
mm,
so yeah, I mean, there's so many avenues that you can go down. But yeah, just take one step at a
mm,
time and see where it takes you.
mm,
Yeah.
I
yeah,
mean, this wonderful idea. I love anything that is inclusive. I love anything that has no age bracket
Yeah.
or any development, right?
yep,
You've got equally the adult that hasn't had a spark of imagination for so long, and
yeah,
suddenly you're that permission to be the child again. I used
yeah,
to embarrass my kids a lot by being silly beggars and dancing to "We Are the Champions" on the top of our voice or whatever. Or if they were
Mm.
fighting, I would start singing opera and they'd do anything to shut me up. So it's it's finding ways,
mm,
because when things get repressive,
mm,
you shut down and you don't know how to express, and you
mm,
don't want to express that you're fearful, but you are, or don't feel you belong, and where's my
mm,
vibe tribe? But when you
mm,
find that creativity and you realize somebody else has that creativity, and then when you play together and all those creative juices are going, all of a
yeah,
sudden those walls are down,
mm,
and you
mm,
start seeing yourself differently, you see other people differently, you see
yeah,
community differently,
yeah,
and it sheds light. And that's what we need. We need more illumination of hope and
mm,
possibilities, because there's
mm,
plenty of darkness out there. We need light.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's where was I going with that thought? Um, no, it's okay. The thought has
It'll
escaped me. It's
come,
all
it'll
right.
come. So the games just keep expanding on each other through people's ideas and expansion, and
Yeah,
the people can find them anywhere in the world, right? So it doesn't matter. Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
are you
that's
going to
right.
be doing things in different languages? Are you going to do
Yes.
that? Right? Okay. So what
Yeah, yeah,
languages?
absolutely. Absolutely. So the games, like we've got the physical kind of products for sale, but we've also just put out a print and play version. So you can basically download that anywhere in the world. Same outcome, obviously not the same beautiful like card feel and everything,
Right.
but you can print it out in and do it in such a way that it does have that kind of texture. But those print and play versions were going to convert into different languages. So when we were over at the Whitlam Community Day, we actually converted those to Hindi, so that the grandparents who
Mm,
were looking after the grandchildren here could be part of that
right.
experience as well. So that worked quite well. And yeah, so we just wanted to kind of test how that might work. But otherwise, yeah, no, we're looking at there's a friend here who works in the multicultural space, and yeah, thinking about how we can start kind of thinking there about like where we might start in terms of different languages, and yeah, that sort
Ask
of
AI.
thing.
Chat will help you with that. Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And there are so many cultures where the grandparents, when they were parents, the grandparents looked after the children because they were working. Now they're
Yes,
the grandparents, so they're looking after the grandchildren because the
yes,
parents are working. So
correct.
having something where they feel inclusive, that there isn't a language barrier or culture
Yes,
barrier,
yep, yep,
because, the greatest thing for a child is when they've taught something to the adult and vice
yeah,
versa, right? When it's across education, across illumination, and
yeah,
something that you're excited to do together,
yeah,
that's
that's it.
bridges gaps which
That's
we
right.
would like to get rid of, right? So,
That's right.
which
That's
is really
right.
important.
That's right. And we've seen also the joy of people sharing things from their childhood from different cultures
Mm,
as well. So one of the ideas that one of the mums came up with was the on the thing card it was chalk, and her idea was you could just have something like really simple in the street where kind of kids come over to somebody's front yard and drawing, because she was talking about how they had a different chalk kind of game. It was similar to hopscotch, but it had different rules. And just showing people different games from people's different cultures from when they were kids as well, and the opportunity to share those. Yeah, I thought that, and that's something that's kind of organically kind of come out of it. So I think there's definitely something to be said there in terms of, yeah, just again appreciating people's backgrounds and rich cultures and yeah, different childhood memories that can enrich all of our
well, I'm throwing another
lives.
one at you. Animals, pets,
Yeah,
cats, dogs, horses,
yes,
tortoises.
yes,
I mean,
yes.
the people with animals, those are children, right?
Yeah, that's
And
right.
they're
That's
very
right.
much a part of family, and then kind of including kind
Yep.
of the animals in there, I think is a great way to go
Yes,
too.
yes, yes. And in fact, we've got a picture of our dog who is intent on throwing his ball around. I hope you can't hear him in the background. But anyway,
That's okay.
he
They all want to be a part of it. They feel the
well, to
energy
be
and they
part
want to
of
be a
it.
part of it.
So we've got him as one of the prompt cards, and one of the young boys came up with this idea of having a dog club, but it was for people who had dogs, but also people who didn't have dogs. Like even if you love dogs, you could still come to this dog club. Anyway, one of the slight alterations that they, because they had a walking group where you could come and walk your dog, and then but then that gave them the idea of then opening that up to other people who just like being around dogs. So
Yes.
like some of the
Yes.
smallest ideas.
Hmm.
And dogs are they are part of our communities, part of our families, and yeah, how are they kind of part of that ultimate kind of solution? So, yeah, definitely, in terms of kids thinking about, or not even kids, but adults as well,
Yeah.
thinking about how that
And
could
then, of
be.
course, with the cats, you can go the other way, right? Because of, cats think they're rulers and they're boss of everybody, right? And so, it can be a lot of fun with kind of coming up with catitudes.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Actually, I was just thinking about we had the two girls, remember at the Waniasa thing, and they were talking about that this very thing about so it was how can we come up with ideas to welcome each other? And they were talking about they had this picture and it had all these cats and about how the new cats would kind of welcome each other in a neighborhood and everything. And it was yeah, kind of a celebration or an idea around that idea. But I thought that was really interesting too. Again, it was like noticing how cats behave and how
Yep.
could you take that behavior into a connection idea. I thought that was a
Yes.
really novel way
Well,
of,
whereas, with the
yeah.
dog sniffing each other's butt, the cat
Yeah,
is like, you may kiss the paw. So totally different attitude altogether.
that's it.
Which,
The
come on.
original idea was about how can we have an event that celebrates animals, and the idea was to have all these like little stations and everything about
Hmm.
ideas of people coming together, like the dog owner and you know who looks most like their dog, you know, sort of
Yeah.
thing. And yeah, just
Yes.
like an obstacle course, and but something that
Mm.
was human and dog kind of
Yeah,
interacting.
I think
Yeah,
that's a great
yeah,
idea.
yeah.
You know, I'm definitely a dog lover. I've just looked after my friend's dog. So just, you know,
Uh-huh.
before the show,
Yeah,
handing little Panda back. And I'll
yep,
be
yep.
getting my own somewhere along the line, but we've got a new baby coming. So right now it's baby before doggy, right? So,
Oh,
uh, but and this is the thing is the more inclusive we are of what is important to us in our life, you know, cats and dogs, or some people
yeah,
maybe horses or whatever,
yep,
you know, it becomes you know, an expansion of topic of to
yeah,
talk about. Right. Oh, I've got a dog too. My dog does this. What does your dog do? And
yeah,
again,
yeah,
connection and expansion, because that's what we're really looking for here is that connection, that expansion of conversation,
yeah.
looking at similarities and embracing differences.
Yeah, yeah,
That's really
absolutely.
what it's about.
Yep, yep, absolutely. And I think by sharing, you know, kind of our that inner world and our both our memories and our perspective and our ideas, that's where the walls are down, you know, like
Yeah.
that's
What
the
walls? Right.
right, right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right, right,
The only
right.
wall we need is one we're going to pin something to, pictures and things
Yeah,
like that,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Not one
yeah,
that is
yeah, yeah.
division. So, yeah.
That's it, the mementos.
Well, it's lovely to see, you know, mum and daughter tag team here, kind of embrace each other as equals. And yes, you've got your expertise and she's got her passion and but
Yeah,
coming together, hearing each other and just, you know, riding this wave together to see where it goes and what it can
yeah,
be and wherever it leads you in the future.
yeah,
Right. And, you know, there are many people that have, as you know, mum, plenty of careers in their life. You know, you never
yeah,
know. I know that everything I've done, and I've done a multiple of things that kind of led me up to what I'm doing here today. So
yeah,
experiencing different things and, you know,
yeah,
sampling them or even doing them for a while and loving them, but then wanting to redirect is perfectly okay. And
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
incorporating that in a game format. You
yeah,
know, it just shows people that it's okay
yeah,
to explore something different. It's okay to my
yeah.
imagination is feeling stifled. What can I do to reignite it? Right. But
Yes.
keeping the imagination alive, which is important.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think staying the course a bit for like not everything is successful. Like there's lots of, you know, for every success, there's like lots of people who either never get back to you or there's quiet, you
Yeah.
know, and that's, I mean, fortunately my job doesn't depend on this, but it's there's definitely been something in staying the course over the long term. And definitely it'll, you know, it'll have its time. It'll have its time. And
Mm.
whenever that time kind of comes, I know for me, like I'm like, I really want to see if it can get embedded in a school. That would be kind of cool. But you know what? If it's it'll yeah, our creativity will evolve into something else. And it already, you know, I always also think, you know, with your songwriting and that kind of thing, like
Mm.
already there's other creative things that you're like on, you
Branch
know, you've
out
got
from.
other creative,
What you've
yeah,
done is you
projects on the side.
created the roots of your tree and you're
Yeah,
building a really good, strong trunk, right? Well, a good, strong trunk and strong roots can have many branches,
yeah,
right? So
yeah.
it's not limiting
True.
yourself to two or three branches.
True.
It's like where else they can go. And then from there, what are they
Yeah.
flowering? And what can that do? So
Yeah.
it's just allowing, you
Yeah.
know, what the next thing, or, you know, having a brainstorm, having a brilliant idea. Okay, maybe that is the branch we're seeking to produce, right?
Yeah.
Aiming
Yes.
for. But it's
Yes.
just allowing it to happen and grow organically, but know that the roots and the trunk are strong. It
Yeah,
can withhold the
absolutely.
branches.
Absolutely. And listening to that inner voice strongly, I
Yes.
really believe that. Like
Yes.
it, there's something about excitement and you know, it's that it's like what's exciting to you or what's the thought that you just can't get rid of that like it's like, okay, I have to do something. And
Yeah.
inevitably it's leading, it has led to something. And
Yeah.
just trusting that your inner voice is, you know, just
It's your
yeah, really
compass.
trusting and relying
It's
on
your
that. It is the
compass.
compass. It
Yeah.
is the compass.
So,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
just, you know, this is where it comes back to your knowingness, your
Yeah.
wisdom, you know,
Yeah.
see that the soul wisdom,
Yeah.
igniting your heart in truth and passion, giving it
Yes.
to your spirit in action for your mind to know what it needs to know when it needs to know it.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Yeah.
as I said, the mind is waiting for instruction. All right. So, when the soul
Yeah.
and the heart and the spirit are all ignited,
Yeah.
that mind knows what you need in order to make it happen. So, trust
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Never lose
Absolutely.
the
And
feeling.
with great clarity.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
incredible. It's
Yes,
incredible.
yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
just, when there's no argument, it just is. It
Yeah.
just is, right?
Yeah.
And just
Absolutely.
allowing. And I say, when you allow something to happen and you trust in that allowing, it's going to lead you to extraordinary places that you never thought you would go, but what
Yes.
you were always designed to do,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you're
Like reaching.
allowing your gift to grow.
So true, so true. And just like I feel like it's that feeling of you reaching your full potential.
Yeah.
And what does that come from? Like where does your idea of your full potential come from? I don't know,
Right.
but it's from
And
many
what is the
places,
limit
but
of the
it's
full potential? There is no limit,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
You
that's
can
right.
reach a goal and like,
Yeah,
oh, there's another branch growing,
there's another branch.
right?
That's
So
right. That's
yeah,
right.
so that's the,
Yeah.
aim for the orchard.
Yeah. 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 I love that.
Molly, would you like to impart any wise words to other kids out there?
I think just Mm, like be yourself is
Mm.
like definitely like the main thing that like, oh well, if you think that like you can't do something, like you're not creative or anything, like you actually are creative, and like because everyone is creative. And I think like be yourself to create in like your own way is kind of like,
Trust yourself,
yeah.
right? Look where it's got you,
Yeah.
right? Right. So
Yeah.
you can see your wings flapping, definitely.
Yeah.
And Mum, what final words have you got for our audience?
I would say just take time to be creative with your kids. Notice, giving your kids opportunities to be creative and just really, yeah, being in the moment with them. And, sometimes, we're very, pressed for time in terms of work and commitments and just life is really busy. But I really feel like just spending time with your kids in creativity
Mm.
gives it's so rewarding for yourself, but also, yeah, like it's just something for your kids to blossom under as well.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
when they blossom, we blossom, right?
yeah,
Because it
yeah,
reignites something
yeah,
inside of us as well.
yeah.
So now how people find you, your website, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, your Facebook, do you have any YouTubes? Share how people
Yeah.
can get hold of you.
Yeah, sure, sure. So if you go to ushapeus.com.au, we've got all of our links there, but also if you look on Linktree under You Shape Us, so you with just like the letter U, shape us, that's got all of our links there as well. So you can see there, you can, as I said before, you can buy our game in physical form, but you can also do it as a digital download as well. So same outcome, different feel.
So you shape us is the letter U,
Yep,
SHAPEUS
yep,
dot com
yep.
dot AU, folks,
Yes.
Australia.
Yes,
Dot com
yes,
dot au to remember
correct.
that. You've got the shop there, you've got the links there,
Yeah,
and how I mean, look, I'm Christmas is coming up. What a
yeah,
great
yeah.
idea! Somebody's birthday, right?
Yep.
Something you can do as a family activity. Is there a particular age group from what particular age up?
Yeah, yeah. So we've tested it from ages 5 up, but we have had childhood educators say, I think this would work with 4-year-olds, but we haven't really tested it with 4-year-olds yet. But definitely, and those very young children, it'll blow your mind. Like
Mm.
they might have some squiggles on a page, but when they explain what those squiggles mean, it'll blow your mind how they're thinking. And up to however old. There's no kind of age
Right.
limit.
Anybody can do this. Can you imagine it in nursing homes? Right,
Yeah,
where people
yeah,
start
yeah.
sharing things and imagination and bringing out kind of that childlike, lovely energy again, right?
That's
Instead of
right.
just sitting
That's
in a
right.
chair waiting to die, again, kind of having some fun and connection, and then sharing stories, etc. So,
That's
yeah,
it. And
there's
if
so many arenas.
exactly. And if you're, kind of unwell, at any age and you're not mobile, it is the perfect game to be able to play in one spot as well. So it's really, and in terms of using our imagination and just having a joyful kind of activity that's, hopeful and, engaging of others as well.
I
So
mean, I
yeah.
could see this in the boardroom where everybody like, let's just take off our professional hat and have some fun,
Yeah. Yes,
making
Yeah.
a
yes,
connection, loosening
yeah,
up, and then just allowing the
yeah.
creative sources.
Yep.
but government, you
Yep.
know,
Yep. Yes. Yes. Yes.
loosen up,
Yes.
get creative, right? I
Yes.
mean, there's so many arenas for this, right?
That's
So
it. That's it.
military, everything. It's just like,
Yeah.
let the creative juices show you. Yeah,
Yep.
and even
Yep.
just how to love, to laugh, to
Yep.
embrace, right? That's what's so important.
That's right. That's right. And that opportunity to see each other in a workplace context where we're listening to all of our ideas, where
Yeah.
traditionally only a couple of people might have, usually dominated the conversation. It's just a really lovely team building activity to give people, kind of those spaces and acknowledgement as well of our creativity.
So youshapers.com.au,
Correct.
Instagram youshapers,
Yep.
LinkedIn Fiona McIntosh, which is McIntosh,
Yep.
and on Facebook youshapers 22.
Yep.
And of course they go to your site, they've got the YouTube there. I've got a YouTube link on here showing the kids playing, and quite honestly it's for anyone who just wants to ignite that imagination. And I think this is something
Correct.
that's so utterly important in everyone's life. If,
Yeah.
when well, I don't have any imagination, or I can't
Yeah.
think, or I can't feel, well,
Yeah.
let's ignite it. It's
Yeah.
there, it's dormant, it's just waiting to come out. And
Correct.
through that playful imagination, it's just going to broaden your horizon and how you see other things,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you
And
learn to
really,
bring that to every part of your life.
that's right. That's right. And really help to build community as well in
Mm.
times where that's really difficult at the moment. And I feel like it's a tool that allows people to come together in different ways. And again, just celebrating our rich cultures, our rich histories, and our ideas and imagination together.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well done, mum and the mum
Thank
and daughter
you.
team here. The fact
Thank
that you're working together,
you.
right?
Thank
And you're not
you.
looking at your mum and going, I hate you, which most teenagers are doing, is wonderful in itself, and a good thing for other teenagers to go, you can work with mum and dad, right? They're not all out to lunch. How about trying your imagination working together and see where it can go?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So this is wonderful to see this. And, thank you for allowing your branches to grow and just,
Thank
going with
you.
it and seeing, and you're definitely allowing, which is very big, and not dictating, you're allowing.
Yes. Yeah.
And,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's where the true strong branches grow, which is
That's so
great. So,
true. That's so true. And putting out hopes to the universe, but then like seeing what happens. Like that's, yeah,
oh
pretty
yeah.
much.
I mean, I put out the image that they give me images all the time, and
Yep.
generally around many years before it's actually meant to come about, right? But then they're saying
Ah,
like 8 years ago gave me the saying, the universe is going to shake us up to wake us up, for us to step up
yeah.
and change it up and grow up to a higher vibration
Yeah.
consciousness, right?
Yeah.
But also grow up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was
Yeah.
8 years ago, and it's so relevant right now, and will
Yes.
be for some
Right.
time to go. Um,
Right.
but that's the thing, is just because you thought of something today doesn't mean it's meant to happen today.
Yeah.
Is that this
Yeah.
is where the idea comes. How do you nurture
Yeah.
it? When is it ready?
Yeah.
Plant the seeds and
Yeah.
keep watering it, and it will grow when it's meant to grow.
Yeah. That's so true. That's so true. And because that seed was 6 years ago, like it's
Yeah. Yeah,
it
exactly.
does. I love that. I love that time. I haven't thought about it in the time sense, but it is right. 7 years ago, sorry. It's seven.
Right. And then just who knows what the next 7 years will be,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. That's it.
Uh,
That's it. Yep.
and there's so much you can incorporate in it. It's just wonderful.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
wonderful. Well, a great idea for my grandson for Christmas, because he's
Wonderful.
4.5, so he'll be
Oh,
just shy
wonderful.
of 5
Yes.
at Christmas, and they always are into
Right.
educational games and everything for
Oh,
him. So I think
great.
this would be great, and then
Fantastic.
trickle down to the other two boys.
Yep. Yep.
So I think anytime that we can do something where it involves the whole family,
Yep.
is a great idea. So
Yep.
definitely.
Yep. No worries.
Thank you
Wonderful.
so much for coming on and sharing with us, folks. Remember,
Thank
it's
you.
you as the
Yep.
letter U, shapers.com.au.
Yep.
Um, as I say, Christmas, birthdays, just getting it for the family and giving it a try.
Yep.
Include the grandparents in, the aunts, the uncles, whatever.
Yes.
It's just like,
Yeah.
see where it goes.
Yes.
Oh, I'm too big for them. You're not. And we
Yeah.
need the
Yeah.
inner child to come out and play.
Yeah.
So let it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Right, let it
Yep.
out.
Yep. Yep.
So
Absolutely.
thanks both of you for being here.
Thank
Great work
you.
that you're doing. Hope to speak to you again down the road. And
Absolutely.
yeah, let your imagination run wild. Until
Thank
next time,
you.
folks. Bye for now. We hope that you enjoyed the show. There are so many more for you here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. Just go to the podcast tag at the top there and you will see all the many genres and all 3,000 shows ready for your listening. We are here to serve you, to help you on your journey of life, and we know that through inspiration it begets invitation. We are supported by you, the listeners, and those that we interview. Anything that you can spare us in donation would be greatly accepted, and we do hope that you enjoy the next show.